Hi and hello, watch fans, and welcome to another edition of the Real Time Show with me, your friendly neighborhood watchmaker, Rob Nuds, joined as ever by the friendly neighborhood jeweler, Alon Ben Joseph, all the way in Amsterdam, and today by the leader of one of the most disruptive small independent brands in the British watchmaking scene, José Miranda of Isotope. Welcome to the studio, José.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time and making the effort to get here because you had to deal with British traffic this morning, which is never a fun thing to endure. Are you quite well?
Yes, all good. Thank you so much. I usually walk to work, but this morning was a bit different, but it's all good now. Thank you.
So it's very likely that our listeners, because they're very well-informed people, have heard of Isotope. It's quite probable that many of them already own one of your pieces. But for anyone that hasn't heard of Isotope, let's go right back to the beginning. They might have been able to tell from your accent that you're not actually from Britain originally. You're from a far more exotic land, far across the ocean, on the beautiful continent of Europe. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be one of the most visible figures in the British watchmaking scene.
Oh, thank you. So I'm originally from Portugal. It's a very, very well-known city by the British families, as they founded most of the port wine companies back in the 1800s. So it's 1700s as well. It's been very interesting to evolve from a Portuguese culture to adapt to the British culture, which it's not very different, let's say. We have same principles, same morals, expectations. So it's quite easy for us to adapt in the UK and for British people to adapt in Portugal as well. But what happened was I grew up in Portugal. I had a couple of film production companies. Then we had a crash in 2009, 2010. So I opted to move to the UK. Well, I was invited to come to the UK to work in production as well. And here we are. So 10 years later, I still have accent and I will never lose it. I hope. It's very difficult. A few years ago, I used to collect watches. I was without money when I came to the UK, and we had to restart everything. And a few years later, I have a meeting with some people that wanted to sell Jumping Hour, General Gente, because that was my vice back in Portugal. And then they asked me if I wanted to pay 17,000 for it. I said, I need to speak with my wife. And my wife said, why don't you make your own? So I made my own Jumping Hour. So 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, more or less, I starting understanding how to be a watchmaker, how to make watches. And between London and Geneva, I spent 2 years until we were able to make the first one, and it was the Rider, which sold out very fast. And from there, it was supposed to be a one-off, but then people started asking for more, so we made more. Then asked for a diver, then for a bronze watch, a GNT, and here we are, 10 years later. So next year we are celebrating 10 years. And we are going to release a very, very unique Jumping Hour as well to celebrate our 10th anniversary.
You know, it's so nice to hear about a brand that has been pulled into existence rather than pushed into existence. You know, you came along with an idea motivated by your own desire to see a Jumping Hour watch. You went ahead and made it. And then there was just a vocal desire for more from you. You didn't come up with this woolly concept that you dropped into the market and tried to force into people's hands or onto people's wrists. It was something that was demanded. And ever since then, the sentiment is, from my perspective as a journalist and from someone that's been following the micro and small independent scene for many, many years, is that you've really never struggled. Now, I'm sure there's a huge amount of struggles and bottlenecks and pain points in the background that you deal with on a daily basis, especially through all the fluctuations of the market that you've endured in the last decade. But has it been, in your personal lived experience, quite an enjoyable romp so far?
Oh, absolutely. This was my hobby before, collecting watches. So when I had the opportunity to move to make watches, it's still it's a highly rewardable. I love it, obviously. I wake up every day happy to go to work, but at the same time, every day is a struggle, every single day, because we don't make our parts. Okay, so we have suppliers, and when you work with a chain of suppliers, if something fails, which fails every week, every day, um, it's a big problem, huge problem to try to make everything align. And we don't make easy watches, so the only thing that we are still not making for ourselves uh, are the movements. We are already making a few plates, a few changes on the movements. We are making new models. Everything else is bespoke. So we don't go to a supplier. Oh, do you have 5 or 10 or 100 of those? No, everything is made uh, for us, specifically for us, under the requirements in terms of design and quality that we demand. No, it's a long process that makes us try to be as competitive as possible, although we are making everything from scratch. It's not easy, to sell the watches that we make at the price point we are making. It's not. It's not easy. It's not easy yet. I hope we can make it easier in the future, but for now, it's still a struggle, a daily struggle. To have the cash flow, because it's only me. Uh, Basically, in terms of the company, it's me and my wife. We are the original owners of the company, and we still are the original owners. We don't have external investments, um, and the plan is to stay the way we are. So grow slowly but steady, and when time comes, we might open the capital to some investors, but not yet. So yeah, it's a struggle every single day.
Jose, you called the brand Isotope. We obviously know the name as being a nuclear species. Is that what you're referring at, or is it something else?
So Isotope, it's a name that I thought it would be interesting. The idea came from when I was watching a movie, because I'm a film buff. I love films. I always love science fiction. Lots of our designs reflect what we see on science fiction novels or cinema. And I was watching The Martian, and there is a one moment where I forgot the name of the actor, but he needs to go from one place to the other, so he takes his isotope with him to warm him up in his vehicle. And when I saw the name Isotope, I remember from my youth, my studies, and I said, okay, isotope. So in layman terms, it's an atom with different characteristics as the other atoms. Very simply put, it's this. So are watches. So watches that are all the same but with different characteristics. So I said, this is interesting. It's a short name. Uh, it's a word that was invented in Scotland, so in the UK. It's a name that is related to science and to tritium and to superluminova as well. So it makes sense in terms of it's a component of the luminosity that we have on our watches. I went online after trying to register 20 or 25 names, and it was available. And I said, okay, that's it. It's our name. I didn't want to call it Miranda watches or uh, something related to my name, because I'm not a watchmaker per se. I manage the company. I manage the design. I don't have uh, the knowledge or the studies to be considered a watchmaker. I own the company and I manage the company. It's quite different from being a pure watchmaker. When you are a watchmaker, I think you should have your name on the dial, because when you die, that's it. You're gone. the name is gone as well. But on a general company, you can have a different name because the watches will survive you, and that's the idea behind it.
Would you call Isotope a British brand?
Yes. So I started 12 years ago my trips to Geneva to understand how to make a watch. So officially, we opened the company in 2016, but 2 years prior, so since 2014, that I have been involved with many interesting people in Geneva, and I have Geneva and Biel and not only and La Chaux-de-Fonds as well. The people I met back then, they really taught me how to make a watch properly well done. And transporting the knowledge to the UK, because that's where I live. I'm living in UK, so I adapted to the UK. I didn't ask the UK to adapt to me. On the contrary, I love being here. That's why we are here. So we adapted to the UK. My kids, the youngest, he doesn't even speak Portuguese. He's trying to learn Portuguese again. He only speaks English. So it's we embrace it, the UK. We are part of the founders of the British watchmakers. We were here already, so we are a British company. We work with lots of international designers, engineers, manufacturers, etc. But the core of the company is still in the UK. Then a bigger part, because our watches are Swiss made, are in Switzerland. But the core of the company, it's British. And even if I move to another country in the future, the company will have been born in the UK, just like Rolex.
Talking of Rolex and looking at big brands that have existed for a long time, do you ever find yourself tempted to cherry pick some of their ideas and integrate those into your own vision for what Isotope should be? Or do you find yourself totally able to remain removed and drawing your inspirations from tangential industries like cinema and pop culture?
Okay, so the only thing that Rolex inspired me was to do exactly the opposite. We don't use other brands to inspire us. We use other brands like Rolex and many others to understand what they did and to do exactly the opposite. If we do something similar to them, and if we realize that what we have or what we are offering is similar to some of those, we cancel the project or we remove the project from our website, because it's not what we do. We only do different stuff. If we work for niches of peoples, if you like us, wonderful. If you don't, no problem. There are so many offers out there, so many brands that can fulfill everyone's desires in terms of design, in terms of complications, etc. So we are very unique, and we don't make watches for everybody. People need to find us, and when they find us, if they like, they buy the watch. And that's the idea. We don't follow rules, we try to create them. We don't follow trends, we try to create them, and we are creating a few trends, like, for example, when we release a professional diver's case with the Idrium, very playful, very enjoyable, very unique in terms of design. After those releases, there are lots of similar offers at the moment. Even the chronograph that we released a few months ago, it's completely different from everything else. And now we are seeing other chronographs and other 3-hand watches as well, with the discs, with that kind of complexity. That's something that we do. So people are chasing a few things that we do, and we try to be as different as possible from everything else. I hope we can still do this in the future, but it's difficult. It's very, very difficult to keep up. Very difficult.
It sounds to me that far from keeping up, you're actually keeping ahead. And that's kind of my next question, which you've already partially answered at least. And that is, if you're not taking ideas from anyone else, do you notice people taking ideas from you? And you've intimated there that, yes, it's quite clear that Isotope is doing things ahead of the curve and people are responding to that by bringing out similar emulative models. Now, there's two things I want to say to that, or questions, shall we say, a two-parter. Number one, do you think it's plausible that there's something in the air, as they say? So, when one genre of TV show becomes popular, there's suddenly 10 or 15 of them. And it's not so much the fact that, they saw the first one have success and everybody copied them. It's that they've all been in development for a long time because people are inspired by the same stimuli in the environment. And secondly, the British Watchmakers Alliance is extremely open. And from what I understand, you all share things with each other very convivially. There's no barriers. You'll tell each other which suppliers you use, and you'll tell each other where you're getting your dials made. You'll tell each other which designers you've worked with on a new typeface, for example. Is that in this context where you see things that you've done, things that you feel have broken the mold and then have been copied, as it were, for want of a softer word, is that a great idea, or is that something that you think over time will disappear as brands realize that they have to be a bit more protective of their intellectual property?
No, at the level of the British watchmakers, there are no issues. I think people are really friendly, and I get along with, I wouldn't say on a daily basis, but when I see them and when I need something and they do the same, we exchange ideas between 10 brands, more or less. I talk a lot more with companies that are far from the UK. I exchange ideas with them as well. Those that I am close with, we don't have this kind of problems of, okay, I'm going to use that idea, I'm going to use this detail or that detail. It's other companies that I don't talk with them, I don't know them, and we can see that they try to, but it's not only us, okay? But that's I wouldn't say that copy. I would say these are inspirations, okay? I don't want to call to ourselves that we are the unique and we are inventive and making, original stuff, blah blah blah. No, it's not only that. It's not that. It's the opportunity, because when we release a watch, we don't know if the market is ready for that or not. We don't know. It's a huge risk that we take on every single release. Even now with the Flyway that we released a few months ago, the complexity of the case, the crystal, it's a saddle, it's like a Pringle. No one has ever done this before, and the technical approach to do something like that, it's extremely expensive in terms of development. And when we have this crystal that has no reflections because of the it's an hyperbolic paraboloid in mathematical terms, and one reflection cancels the other, so you can look at the dial. You almost don't need anti-reflective coating. We still have it, but you almost don't need, because it's very easy to read the dial. These kind of approaches, I don't see other brands taking them. It's the creative stuff, it's the easy stuff that take us 1, 2, 3 years to get there in creative terms, or in design, or in design terms, or finding a technical way to develop and to apply that design detail. that we see reproduced in different ways, different colors, inventive ways as well, obviously. But that's when we start watching a few things coming up. We have in our shop many mainstream brands buying our watches. I don't know why. I never ask them why they are buying our watches, but I'm sure it's not to wear it on the wrist. And this is fun. This is interesting. It's cool to know.
Jose, would you call Isotope a design brand?
That's what we are selling. We are selling a dream. We are selling a desire. We are selling a unique watch designed in a way that no one is designing them. We don't make our own movements yet. We are, as explained, we change a little bit the movements. We make models. The new jumping hour that will come in a few months is have a new model that doesn't exist. It didn't exist. So that's what I tell to my suppliers, because when my suppliers or even my designers try to shortcut something that I ask to be in a specific way, that's what I try to explain them. This is what we sell. We sell the uniqueness, the complexity of making things look simple and easy. If we don't do that, we are not selling nothing, because we don't have uh, an FP journée movement to put on the back. We don't have an Agenhor movement to put on the back. So we need to use a movement from off the shelf, Valjoux, Landeron, La Jouperet, Celita, Nitier, whatever it is, adapt them to our needs, probably make a few new plates and new bridges, new stones as well, decoration, but it's the front of the watch that we are selling. So it's the dial, it's the hands, it's the case. It's what people come after us to try to buy, because if they want something more complex on the back, they will go to another price point and to another independent or mainstream brand. So yes, I think we are a design company because of that characteristic.
So that begs the question, is it British design?
It's British design, but not only, because I absorb, not only me and my designers, we absorb design from all over the place. So there isn't just one thing as British design or as French design or Portuguese design or whatever. I think we have all embedded in a culture that it's transatlantic. We all, or at least us, not that, no, everybody. It's let's break them all there. Everybody absorbs design and architecture and art from all over the place. If you are closed in one thing only as the British design, there is not one British design. The British design, just like any other design around the world, they are embedded by what surrounds you. And what surrounds you, it's the world. So you can't have, for example, even the best British architects, they have their art, their architecture spread around the world. That's a synonym. That is that British architecture around the world. Yes, but at the same time, there are not only British architects working at Foster's, for example, or in other companies. There are designers that are here in the UK. They are extremely famous, extremely efficient and amazing. But they came from Scandinavia, they came from the US, they came from many other countries that I know them, and I know them, and they work for British companies. Yes, it's British design, but with a lot of international influences. Otherwise, no, you can't just subsist with the internal market at the moment. You need to make things that are international, that look at everybody. For example, um, our major success, what maybe put Isotope in the map a few years ago, it was a diver's watch called Will Return, inspired by the door sign in North America, where people say, "I will be back at 9 a.m. or at 10 a.m." So I use the hands, I use the colors from that sign, the sign that I had acquired 20 years ago, and transformed a watch diver, a heavy watch diver, a tool watch, in something playful. And that's what made us famous, in brackets. But it's okay. I am in UK. It's a British company. I am Portuguese. The sign was made in US. Uh, I don't know. No one knows who designed it. It's a common design. So, is it British design? I don't know what to say.
It's José design. It's funny you've referred to the Hydrium and the will return sign, because that is one of my favorites. When you started, do I dare to call it a skin diver? That the Hydrium case is when Isotope came on my radar. It spoke to me, but what made me a big fan is the collab with Revo, where you guys made the Mercury.
Yes.
Isotope Mercury. That case is splendid. The hands are literally a piece of art. So my question here, Jose, is it seems a eclectic collection of designs, which is no criticism, it's just an observation. Is this something that you've always set out on purpose? Like you see with furniture design, where they work with different collections, different designers, and it's all over the place. Whereas usually watch brands have a clear cut style and DNA in their design.
It's yes, I know, because the inspiration comes from science fiction. Most things do not exist, but I love to travel, and I travel a lot. And when we come back home, I have all the pictures. I take the pictures, I take the notes, and when I'm back home, I often organize them, and an idea comes up. For example, about 10, 12 years ago in Paris, I watched the most beautiful sunset, unexpected, in Paris. Because it's the city of lights, but it's the city of lights that the name City of Lights comes from uh, a couple of centuries ago, when gas came, and they installed lights on the streets, and that's why it became the City of Lights. It's not because of the sun, not because of the amazing light that surrounds Paris, but when I was there, I saw an amazing sunset, and I said, we need to reproduce this. So I took a picture, which is a crappy picture, doesn't look nice, but I had the memory that it was a red sun with the yellowish on the sides. And yesterday we released the watch called the Olala, dedicated to Paris, and it's almost sold out. I didn't check, but I think it's if it's not gone, it's about to go. Um, um, so these ideas are a collection of influences, not only from the UK but from around the world. And I work with a designer from Portugal. I work with a designer based in UK. I work with another designer based in Finland. I work with another designer based in Russia, which unfortunately now I can't work with him because it's complicated, as you know. But I have this team, and when I need, for example, a new letter font or a new specific detail on a case, etc., I talk with each one of them, and all of them respond to me. So everything is under one umbrella, and that's how making so many different watches, we can then look at them and see, oh, okay, so this is an isotope. There are specific details that are from an isotope. That's the only way that we can make them look the same. The same within the isotope umbrella, obviously.
Unfortunately, I've never encountered an Isotope watch ever. And I'm an avid member of Red Bar Crew. I visit fairs. Unfortunately, I've missed British Watchmakers Day now at least 2 times.
You've never had an isotope on your wrist?
Never.
Good grief. Well, we need to fix that ASAP. I mean, it is unlike anything else, really. I mean, what's going on?
Well, exactly. Hence, I canceled all my meetings to be in this recording.
Yep, you did. Yeah.
So, I did not spot retailers on the website, dear Jose. Is this a intentional strategy for the brand Isotope?
We at the moment we only have one retailer, online retailer. It's Chronofactum. It's based in Germany, and we start working with him right after Brexit to try to respond to the lack of market, because we lost 90% of the European market. The same way we are losing now market in the US due to the tariffs. So when these things happen, we need to react and try to find solutions to keep on serving the market. But to keep the prices affordable, we cannot work with retailers. If we start working with retailers, I will need to double or to triple the prices of our watches. And it's every sale we make with Chronofactum, we are basically losing money. But at least we keep feeding the European market, because people hate, and most people don't understand that they need to they pay VAT eventually, either to the importer or to us. So it's very difficult to explain how VAT works, but people, in the end of the day, they need to pay it, however it is. And the same is happening with US. Now all the imports need to pay 10% from the UK, but we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks or months. We don't know nothing. So if I work with retailers, I will need to increase our prices, and I think that's not the correct idea at the moment. I think we can still grow slowly, but selling almost exclusively from our website, and that's it. Oh, sorry. We also have our watches in London at the Time and Tide studio in London. And that's very useful. That's very interesting, because there are lots of clients coming to London. They go there, they visit, they buy the watches there, and it's very interesting. And now we have a North America brand director, Mark Levesque, and he is pushing for the brand, in North America, obviously, but he's not working as a retailer. No, the brand will still ship. We will still ship the watches from the UK to the US as we always did before. So it's just a price strategy. If we open the market and we have lots of offers, as you may imagine, um, I don't think it's the right time to start pushing for the prices.
I dare to play devil's advocate right here.
Yeah,
I think that the isotope mercury, for example, and we didn't talk about the chronograph moonshot yet, which is the next topic. But before I do so, I think it's so unique. I think the qualities there, you seem to respect haute horlogerie, you understand it, you admire it, and you might aspire it. But today, still available is the isotope mercury marquetry. I see
Yes.
a price of 2,300 and a half, so 2,350 euros about. I don't know if this is with VAT or without VAT.
That's the deposit. That's the deposit to
Deposit
start
for-
working.
Okay, so how much is the retail price on that model?
So they start at 4,000, and then depending on the complexity, prices will go up. So, for example, I have one here that was it's going to be shipped to our customer next week, and it was above 14,000 because of the complexity of the dial. But normal complexity, let's call it, it starts at 4,000.
So who says that you won't sell more at a price point of 6,000 instead of 4, or even, dare I say, 8,000, building in margin for retailers and even marketing? Because we could maybe flip the coin and say, you know what? The hardcore collectors that understand marquetry and would buy, let's say, a Patek or Vacheron with marquetry, say, you know what? 8 is a bargain. And maybe at
It
a
is a
price point of
bargain.
4, they'll say, ooh, this is probably a China-produced watch.
Yes, I understand. But what's happening here is when you want to buy one of those watches, you will have a meeting with me, and I will explain how the watch is. So how the material is sourced, where, who makes it, and where. So you know all the details from France, Burgundy to Paris, to Geneva, and other places in Switzerland. You know everything. So you need to go through the experience. You also learn that our artisans are the same working for major luxury brands. And what they are charging you is a luxury tax that we don't have. I think that the moment we do that, we need to create a secondary brand, maybe to make our prices higher. But that's not within my objectives. My objective is to offer something very unique, even if you pay 4 or 5 or 10 or less. You know that there is nothing like it in the market, and I don't mind to make less money as long as you are happy with what you have on your wrist. It's a company doesn't need to. We could obviously be selling for a few pounds more, but that will be. Uh, I think it's unnecessary at the moment. We are offering and giving the opportunity to many people to have things that uh, they don't know it existed before they knew us, and also probably some of them expired but were never able to get them, just like me. I have a few Braille watches that I will never probably be able to get them. But at this price point, we are making lots of people happy. So it's okay. I'm happy with that as well.
Well, kudos to you. I take my hat off to you. While listening to you, I scrolled on the product page of the Mercury Marquetry dials. The dials are mind blowing. I don't even know which one is my favorite, but maybe I'll vote for I nicknamed it the Malachite dial, which it isn't. You mimicked the behavior of the Malachite natural stone in wood, because marquetry is basically a parquet for your dial. So kudos to you.
The dials you are making are made of straw, not even wood at the moment. So Bernardo, which is our artisan, he has been working in the area for more than 10 years and only now is able to start making micro marquetry, because there are only 3 in the world that can do that. So you can see that they are not only supplying us, they are supplying other brands as well. And but none of them at this price point, because what we do is to buy the dials from them, and then all the production, the movement, etc. It's done by us, and then or assembled by us, and that makes us able to control the price point and the but it's a different approach because it takes a lot of time. It's very unique. You said you like one specific design, but the interesting part here is that we can make your own design. We can create a dial that you dream of. We have a client that last Friday, bought 3 new marquetry dials for him. One based in one painting and 2 based on existing shapes, because it makes him remind something from his youth. And that's exactly what we have there. We have, for example, the parquet design. We have a customer from the Emirates that studied in London, and his room in London had the same parquet as the design we have on our dials, and he wanted one because of the good memories. So this is very interesting. For example, we also have one called the tennis, which has a clay representation of the clay set and the tennis ball, and that was designed in partnership with a customer that made 5 to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Millennium Open in Portugal. But that's it. We will not make those designs anymore. So we have the opportunity to create new designs, speaking with the client, understanding what is what's the idea behind the dial, and then we can make something very unique. That's why some of the most interesting ones are not even on the website, because it's we didn't have the authorization to take pictures and to place them. That's how unique they are.
Well, that's quite exciting. I love stuff that's off catalogue. Nothing really gets me going as much as hidden watches that people don't know whether or not they exist. And then you see them years after they've been released and people are running around like headless chickens trying to figure out whether they're legit or whether they're Frankenstein pieces. That's always exciting as a collector and as someone that never gets tired of unearthing these weird and wonderful treasures. So you don't have retailers. So getting the pieces in front of people is something that you have to do yourself, really. And I know that you do put a lot of effort working on the ground at events and whatnot, and standing across the table and talking to people and hearing their ideas, as you just mentioned, and assimilating those with your own. But tell me about your event and travel schedule. You do a lot around the UK. Do you do much internationally? Where can we expect to find you? Where should our listeners look for you if they want to, like Alon, get an isotope on their wrist for the first time?
Yeah, so this year we have been almost every weekend on a watch event. So we are visiting all the British events, unless if we are not invited, obviously we will not be there. We have also been in most of the US events. We are next week going to LA to Intersect and then Watches and Minutes. Then we will have Toronto, then we will have Brighton, then we will have Dubai, Philly, Austin. What else? We are also going to Europe, to Prague. So we still have a very, very full agenda until the end of the year. But basically, if there is an event, we will probably be there for sure.
I want to swing it back to design. Sorry, gentlemen. I'm so intrigued. I'm actually jumping for joy on my seat and I'm blown away. And I'm already racking my brain what marketing DAO I would design. But before I do so, let's talk moonshot. I see a render on your website. Is that watch ready, dear José?
Yes. So the moonshot was released in December last year, November. And we start shipping them in March, April. And it's a steady and continuous shipping of watches. We can ship 3 to 4 watches per week. That's how fast we can make them. It's a very unique approach. I can explain more about that watch if you want. I think it's very unique approach because when COVID started, I had a few investments in a startup in London, and when that happened, the month before everything closed down, I sold my shares, so I have money in the bank, and I had time to think about new designs. So I thought myself, okay, so there's nothing to do. Let's start making watches for when this opens up again. And that's when I started thinking about a chronograph. And we were working on a very traditional design. And that same year, or 2021, if I'm not wrong, or 22, there were about 70 new chronograph released by most brands. All of them safe, so a couple of exceptions, they all look the same. Very traditional, very classic approach, the same and the same and the same and the same. And I said, we can't do this. If we release a chronograph, needs to be something that people are not expecting. So after 100 designs, I told my designer, let's stop. No, we are going into circles. We are not working in the same way we should work for to make something different. And one weekend, so that this was 2 years later, 2022, I was we went away for a weekend, and I took a graphic novel that I usually love when I travel to read. It's called The Incal, designed by Moebius and written by Alexander Jodorowsky. And I was, going through the pages, and I started seeing shapes. Because if you read The Incal, you'll see that it's engineering in the future, but with the concepts of the 1970s. So it's a sort of retro engineering, but very, very creative. It's absolutely beautiful. Everything, all the details, all the shapes, the streamlined shapes, the half cut shapes, the rounded, the all the reflections that you see, the turbines, the shapes. It's you need to see it to understand what I'm trying to explain. And when I was looking at it, I start seeing these specific shapes, and I was transmitting to my designer, let's do this, let's do that, change this, change that, let's go there. And then he start adding a few more details. And when the watch was ready, and I was really happy with basically what you see on the outside, I said, why don't we only show what we need to show on the dial? Let's add some circles, some discs on over the subdials. And this, what if we do this, took 2 more years to develop, because there was never a chronograph made like this. We had already used the discs on our GMT. We were making a few innovations on other models that will come next year with the discs as well. But on a chronograph, with that pinion size, with the strength and the torque that is necessary to reset second hand and the chronograph subdials, there is nothing like that. It didn't exist. So we start testing, and it took about 2 years to do that. So it's a project that took 4 years from inception to start delivering. And the design is so unique. It's so many levels, so many details, so many Easter eggs. Most people take months to find them, and but when they find, they send us an email. I just discovered this. It's beautiful. It's incredible. It's so nice. It's so, thank you. Blah, blah. So it's really cool that when people understand the complexity, although it looks so simple and so easy, when you look at it, that's the principle. Even the bracelet. So it's a titanium grade 5. It's really hard, and then we apply a coating of DLC as well. The taper on the bracelet and on the rubber is the same. So they taper vertically and horizontally, which means that to make each link, it's a specific CNC programming. They are made one by one. And to sell everything we offer, including a Valjoux 7753 inside for £3,000, it's bonkers. It's ridiculous. If you don't get one watch like that at that price, sorry, you don't know what you are doing, basically.
Nicely put. And you're absolutely right, of course. And I think the proof, as Alain would like to say, is in the pudding there. So it's a wonderful piece. It's unlike pretty much anything else I can point to. And the only drawback is it sets quite a high bar for you in the future. And that's my last question, really, to round out what has been a very easy, relaxed, and informative show. We've certainly enjoyed it, that's for sure. I know Alain's already counting his pennies and wondering how many isotopes he can buy now. He's probably also going to put some crazy pitch into you so he can stop them in Amsterdam as well. But hold fast, Jose. Hold on to that profit margin. You need it. Tell me, what is coming in the future? What can we expect to see throughout 2026? What can you share with us? Remember, it's a podcast, so nobody can see anything. So you can give us an exclusive, and nobody will be sure exactly what you mean until it does finally drop visually next year.
Well, some of them can't be explained without showing them, so I'll skip those. But we have new future versions of the chronograph. We will have the Idrium, but on a titanium case in the next few months, or maybe next year. hopefully before Christmas. We will have a new jumping hour that instead of being the hour jumping is the full dial. We have already some images on our Instagram, Isotope watches, that can show you how it works. So it's a prototype. The final design will be introduced in a couple weeks, which is a lot more streamlined, thinner, elegant. It's the refinement that we always apply to our prototypes before starting production. We will also have a new diver. We'll have so this new diver, it's the Good to Do 2.0. It's a re-edition of the initial skin diver we had a few years ago, but now with more knowledge, more technical solutions, much better constructed, much better design, refined. We are also making a professional diver for 1,000 meters that it's absolutely unnecessary. I call it the unnecessary diver watch, but someone needs to make it, and I love the concept. Absolutely love the concept. It came from a very simple idea of an Idrium with a level when I was hanging a painting on the wall. So expect to see what's coming out from that, from those two things together. I call it the unnecessary because it's going to be our third diver, and it's even if we don't sell, I don't mind. I want one for me. I love the concept. I love the idea. So we need to make it. And we'll also have a new GMT. We will also have a new, very specific, fun watch to look at and to play with. And we are also working on other Mercury evolutions. And that's it for now. So we have a very, very intense year ahead.
I'd love to see a Mercury in full polished titanium anodized green. Any chance?
It will not be titanium, but we never know.
Oh, exciting. Alon, any more?
Well, I have loads more, but I think this was a beautiful episode. I just wanted to say I love the last two sound bites. Somebody has to make it, and that says it all what Isotope and José are about. And I don't care if nobody buys it. I like it and I want to make it. And you know what? Good for you, José. I'm very happy I met you digitally in the virtual studio. I can't wait to shake your hand because you are a man of my liking, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, and likewise, thank you so much. And I'm ready to go, to Netherlands and show you the watches in person. We need to do that.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's a Red Bar Amsterdam meetup on the table there already. And I'm sure many of our community would love to attend that. They're well accustomed to visiting Alon in Amsterdam, as one of our recent episodes shows, with the gang actually speaking live in Ace Jewelers on location. If any of you have questions for us or for José, then please do get in touch. You can do so via the usual channels. You can find us on Instagram at therealtime.show. You can use the contact form on the website, www.therealtime.show. You can email us directly, either Rob, Alon, or David at therealtime.show. And if you want to contact Scarlett, she's on Instagram at ScarlinTheShire. That's ScarlinTheShire. We will be back soon with more top quality watch content and interviews with the industry's finest. Until then, stay safe and keep on ticking.